Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population and with little or no meaningful engagement leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Waste Primetime. My name is Choma Kalu, and tonight we're going to be looking at something really interesting. And for the past 15 years, Enough is Enough, that's the EIE Nigeria, has been a powerful voice at the forefront of the civic space, shaping conversations around good governance, accountability, and citizens' power. Now, since its inception, EIE has grown into one of Nigeria's leading non-profit organizations, relentlessly working on elections, citizens' engagement, and legislative accountability. Now, this year marks a significant milestone, the 15th anniversary of EIE Nigeria. It's a moment to look back at the organization's remarkable journey, the movement it sparked, and the policies it influenced, and the millions of citizens it has mobilized. It's also a time to look ahead, at the evolving front lines of the struggle for a better Nigeria. So today we dedicate this segment to celebrating this journey, reflecting on the organization's footprint in Nigeria's democratic landscape, and discussing its future direction. Now, remember, Ways is all about you as you are the why in Ways. So be a part of the conversation every single day and add your voice to the discussions. Head on now to YouTube if you're not already subscribed at Official Upgrade TV. You can like, share, and invite your friends and family to join the show now. When I open the phone lines, I'd really love to hear your say on this milestone celebration. As always, here is a quote for you to ponder on tonight. It says, to deny people their human right is to challenge their very humanity. And this was said by Nelson Mandela. Of course, we're going to go into this much later. But first of all, we'll go on a quick break. And when we come back, we'll go through my news interest for the day. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. You're still watching Ways, and here are a few news stories that caught my interest today. And we're going to be starting on a rather very sad note today. And the story says bandits abduct 25 schoolgirls, kill vice principal in deadly attack on Kebbi school. Now, the story says bandits have reportedly abducted 25 students from the government's Girls Comprehensive Senior Secondary School, GGCSS, in Maga, Kebbi State. It was guarded that the girls were whisked away during an attack by the gunmen on Sunday night at the school located in the Danko Wasagu local government area of the state. Now, according to sources, the attackers killed the school's vice principals, Principal Malam Hassan Makuku, before abducting several schoolgirls. Witnesses say the bandits operated without resistance and caused widespread panic, throwing the entire region into deep fear and mourning. Makuku was reportedly shot while attempting to protect the students during the invasion. Now, the chief press secretary to the governor, Ahmed Idris, disclosed that the deputy governor, Senator Umar Tafida, had been dispatched to the school to assess the situation on behalf of the governor, Nasir Idris, who is currently out of state. Now, the statement says the deputy governor is on his way to know the exact situation. The governor is not in the state for now, but his deputy will go on his behalf until he returns at any moment from now. I mean, like I said, this is rather a sad note to begin with. When I saw the story, it really my heart really went out to these people because we have talked about insecurity for so long, in this country, and it's not getting any better. It's not getting any better. Imagine your child goes to school and doesn't return because bandits attacked. And my heart goes out, to the families of these schoolgirls, especially to the families of the vice principal who was said to have been shot in his attempt to protect the girls. It's really a sad one. And really I'm wondering why we're still here, why we're still talking about this, right? These are things we should talk about. And then the other day, a journalist was trying to make a comment about the state of the healthcare in this same Kebbi state, and he was arrested. So now imagine people talking about this thing, and what's your reaction? Now the governor is said to not be in town during this incident, but it is really a sad one. I hope that he returns from wherever he is and come down to at least find something to do. I mean, he's not going to enter these people's this thing and bring them out. But then again, it's really a sad one. Like I said, my heart goes out. 25 children, schoolgirls. We're not done with the other ones that were abducted, and now this is really sad. And I do hope these bandits are intercepted and the children are rescued, because it's not a beautiful sight, and it's not something. Nigeria does not look good already on the global stage given the state of insecurity, and this is still happening. It's a cause for alarm, really. Anyway, moving on to our second story. It says justice must never be for sale, Tinubu tells judges. Now, the story says President Bola Tinubu has told Nigerian judges that justice must never be for sale in the country. The president gave this charge on Monday at the All Nigeria Judges Conference in Abuja. He said the bench must never be called a sanctuary for compromise. Let us be clear, he said. No amount of reforms can succeed if integrity is compromised. Justice must never be for sale. The bench must never be called a sanctuary of compromise. Corruption in any form or in any arm of government weakens the nation. So destroy corruption in the judiciary to the core, Tinubu urges the judges. When I saw this story, it's a good admonition, right, to the judiciary system. But uh, are we just having this on paper? Are we just having this in the news so it looks like we're doing something, when in the actual sense we know that sometimes justice delayed in Nigeria is justice denied? Because I mean, we've all seen it play out in this country. So I really do hope that this charge is coming from a great place. And also, let's stop playing the loyalty card in this judiciary system, because I feel like that's happening a lot, right? You leave the bidding of the law that you're supposed to do, and you start doing the bidding of those in power, right? I'm speaking to the Nigerian judges right now. It doesn't it's not, that's not why you were called to bar, right? You're there to deliver justice. And just like the president has said, it weakens the nation when we can't even rely on your judgment, right, as the justice. So please, I beg you, take this information, take this charge from the president very seriously. And let's see, I mean, we're going to be entering a new year pretty soon. Let's see a change in the judiciary sector, right? In the system. Let there be a total clean out. Nigeria has a lot on its plate right now we can do without all of this corruption, especially in the judiciary system, because you're supposed to be the hope of the common man. But right now, even the common man would rather not go there, right? Because you don't even have hope anymore, and that's not a place to be. Other countries would solidly want to challenge maybe the government to court and everything because they believe in judiciary system. But right here, we don't even do that because somehow it allegedly feels like the judiciary is in the pocket of the government, right? So I mean, let's turn a new leaf, really. Let's use this end of year to wrap up on whatever it is we're doing that is not right, right? Let's go of compromise. You're not even supposed to be caught in that web as a judge. All right. Anyway, moving on to my last story of interest. This one is really funny. It says parents of foreign scholarship students pickets finance ministry over unpaid allowances. It doesn't make any sense. You don't give, you do not give scholarships when you know you can't afford it. Now, anyway, let's look at the story. It says parents of Nigerian students studying abroad on government scholarships on Monday blocked the entrance of the Federal Ministry of Finance in Abuja. They are demanding the payment of outstanding allowances owed to their children. Now, according to the protesters, their children, who are on various bilateral education agreements and other scholarship schemes, have not received their stipends for 16 months, while an additional 8 months shortfall remains unsettled. I can't believe that this is happening. You don't come and say, oh, we're giving you scholarship when you know you cannot pay. So these children are stranded in the schools that they are in. And mind you, these schools are abroad, right? What are they supposed to do? You've not paid. Imagine not receiving stipends for 16 months. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's not Nigeria. Oh. It's diaspora, right? They don't have mother, they don't have father. They went on a promise, they went on your word, your promise to them, right? And these people are supposed to be representing you in those countries. So imagine how much of what's the word? How much of a joke we have become to these institutions that these students are in. How do you not pay stipends for 16 months? And then again, they said there's an additional 8-month shortfall that you have still not settled. Nigerian government, what is going on? Every day we are taking up loans, right? I mean, next year we're going to get into another fiscal year, of course, and we're going to start again. We'll soon present budget for 2026. All of these things. Why is it that when it comes to education, we kind of make it look like it's a trivial issue? We can't keep doing this. What are these children supposed to do? The embarrassment. Now, it's taking the parents and loved ones of these people to come to the finance ministry to protest. Come on, how bad can it get? I don't know why this is. I don't know the excuse you have, but I really do think that you go back and reflect on your actions because you're leaving these children stranded. You don't even know how they are leaving. You don't know if they are now homeless just because your country promised to see you through school. Come on. If you couldn't do it, tell them you can't. Don't even grant them the scholarship. Don't, like I keep saying, don't look good on paper. Don't look good in the news. When the actual thing, you're not doing it. What's the fate of these children? I'm really curious. I wish I could get one of them to actually speak to me. Because we need to understand what the standard of living is like for them now. Imagine not receiving your stipends for 16 months. This, this is over more than a year. How are they coping? So you will now leave school and start hustling, doing menial jobs just so you can survive. When your government, your country gave you a promise to sponsor your education is really a slap on our face as a nation. And I hope that this is sorted out because I am so sure that we look like a joke on this global stage in these nations. I don't know. I'm very sure it's not even one country that all the students went to. I'm sure it's diverse countries. So imagine when your school is calling you and saying, "Oh, your country hasn't paid up." Come on. Anyway, that's all the stories I can take for now. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll dive into our topic for tonight. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light for my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us tonight, we are celebrating the EIE at 15. And we're talking about their footprints and the front lines, everything they've been able to achieve, in these 15 years. Remember, you can be a part of this conversation. We want to hear what you have to say. So you can send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0818-038-4663. Also, the phone lines around are open now. You can call on 070-2500-7749 and also on 0701-4242-420. Let's hear what you have to say. Now, you see, an organization's 15-year history is like a mirror, reflecting the broader challenges and the triumphs of a nation's democratic journey, basically. So you see, for EIE, the story is one of consistent commitment, especially to the office of the citizen. The belief that every Nigerian has a role and a voice in governance. Now, EIE's journey reminds us that meaningful change is built on sustained efforts, innovation, and the power of a mobilized citizenry. And, understanding the footprints and front lines is essential because it shows us how civic organizations can effectively navigate complex political environments, the lasting impact of youth engagement and advocacy on electoral processes and legislative oversight. It also shows us, the enduring impact and importance of demanding accountability from elected officials, irrespective of the political climate. So, you see, this conversation is basically about acknowledging the legacy of key players and charting course for the next generation of civic leadership. And to guide us in this reflection tonight, we have Akindeji Aromaye, the Senior Media Associate at EIE Nigeria. Good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening. How are you doing today?
Very well, very well. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be here.
Great. So let's get right into it. 15 years is a lot of time. It's a major, major milestone. So looking back, what is one defining moment or campaign, you believe, sets the EIE's trajectory in the civic space?
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Right.
For me, the real turning point, 15 years of building active citizens in Nigeria, the turning point for me was when the idea of the Office of the Citizen took root in 2015. Before then, people knew EIE with protest, mobilization, street activism. That has been the brand that people has known EIE for. But then that concept gave Nigerians language for their power, as it were. It helped us move from simply reacting to issues to building a long-term culture of civic engagement. So Office of the Citizen became our anchor, And then Nigeria started saying, I am the office of the citizen. I occupy the highest office in the land. And everything else we've been able to do since then, from election work as our RSVP campaign, to our legislative engagement, to our local government engagement, and every other thing we've been able to do. The office of the citizen was actually what set us on the right foundation, and it really sets us apart to where we are on today. So, office of the citizen is the moment that everything changed. It wasn't just a campaign, it became Nigeria's civic identity.
Mm. Anyway, speaking of the Office of the Citizen, how were you able to, approach the mobilizing of citizens? So the approach, whatever approach you use, how did it evolve over the last 15 years? To get people to key into this particular campaign of Office of the Citizen, because it shouldn't have. I mean, people wouldn't just embrace it if they don't get to have a full awareness of what it's about. So how did it get to where it is right now, 15 years later?
Yeah, the evolution has been quite huge
Mm,
because since inception in 2010, we have always believed in meeting citizens where they are. And technology has been central to our strategy from beginning. So through the use of technology, we've been able to use that to map citizen engagement. We used that in the early days. We were using Twitter, Facebook, and all other social media platforms that was available then. So we've been able to use that to amplify our campaign over the years. And then over time, we've now combined this early tech adoption with on ground approaches, because we now saw that, okay, besides reaching out to people online, then you also need to go to the grassroots. You also need to go and reach out to those that may not necessarily have the data to actually engage online. And how have we been able to do that? We've been organizing town halls. We've been meeting people exactly where they were, community engagement. We've been building partnership with CSO partners that work at the grassroots, journalists, and then even recently, we've had massive partnership with content creators and faith leaders.
mm,
Uh, our idea is just that wherever citizens are, whether you're online, whether you're offline, we have to get the message to you. You have to be involved in governance. You have the rights to hold government accountable, and government is responsible and they must answer to you. And then platforms like shineyoureye.org. Shineyoureye.org is a database of all political office holders in Nigeria, from the federal to the local level.
mm.
So if you go on that website, you are able to find the contact information of your elected representatives. And then aside that, that's the tech part of it. Then at the local government level today, we have what we call Office of the Citizen Help Desk. So how that works is that you, as a member of the community, and then there are any issues in your community that you need to escalate to, instead of ranting at home or just complaining, you can walk up to your local government office and then ask to speak to your help desk officer. And what that help desk has actually achieved is that it has served as a bridge. Because what usually happens before is that there's a lot of bureaucratic process that delays an ordinary citizen engaging with their local government chairman. But then now that there is local government autonomy, the local government are actually getting their funds directly for the federal government. Attention and focus needs to be on that tier of government, and that has been what we have been doing. So the message has remained very consistent. The highest office in the land is the office of the citizen, and how we communicate that, how we engage people, and how we give them the tool to act has also evolved from how
Okay.
we started in 2010 to where we are today.
All right. So, while you were speaking, you said, "Oh, instead of staying in your house to rant, you can go to your help desk at the local government and all that." That's really impressive. But I want to ask, how effective is that? It's very easy for things like this to be infiltrated, right? You start seeing the help desk officer wanting to do the bidding of the local government instead of the citizen that he's representing, right? So, have you seen anything with that particular pattern? And also, how has it been? Are the citizens actually showing up, and at the help desk level, are they being uh are they being loyal to the people that they're supposed to serve, and not, wanting to curry favor from the local government, thereby neglecting their duties?
Oh, yeah. So we've actually had quite a number of success stories. So it's a pilot project under our MyLGA program. The project is currently active in Nasarawa State, we are in Ebonyi State, we are in Osun State, and we are in Ekiti State. And in Nasarawa, for example, there is a community in Toto local government. It's a community that for years they've not had pipe-borne water. So if you want to fetch water, if you want to cook, if you want to have a bath, you have to go to the stream to go and fetch that. And then, the other health risk that is associated with that. So through the establishment of this help desk office in that community of over 2,500 people, they were able to channel their complaints to the local government office that covers the community. Then they engaged the help desk officer there. Then there was some back and forth. And at the end of the day, for the first time in that community, the local government had to give them a ball. And then for those of us that stays in the urban area here, we might feel, oh, that's just a small win, it's just a ball. But for people in that community, it's actually a huge win for them. Now, instead of them to walk kilometers just to fetch water, to get water from unclean sources or start waiting for when rain falls, there's a ball in that community now that is functioning and is effective. The same way, even in Nasarawa State too, there's a case that a child was kidnapped from Benue State and was brought to Nasarawa State. He found himself in Nasarawa State, and then initially what would have happened if there were no help desk officers in that local government is that you would have gone to the police station. After the police station, there would have been so many bureaucratic processes that would actually stall or delay reuniting the child with the parent. But the desk was able to actually identify the boy, bring all the necessary stakeholders that would reunite the boy with his family, and bring support to his family. So those are just some of the small wins, like some people would call it, but it's actually huge. That the establishment of the help desk is bringing. And then you mentioned that, okay, how are we going to ensure that the help desk officer is not partisan? No.
Right.
So with the framework we are working with is actually the help desk officer at the local government secretariat is actually not a political office holder. It's actually a local government staff. What has just changed is that we have empowered the staff to man that desk. And then there are clear KPIs that we are also working with, that, okay, when complaints are lodged at your desk, you have to record it, you have to escalate it, and then you also have to give update back to whoever it is that has lodged the complaint. And it has been very, very effective. We've been hearing good news. So many success stories are right now on the pipeline, and we can't wait to share with the people. And so it's a good model that is currently running, and we hope to scale it across the 774 local governments in Nigeria.
Okay. Now, considering Nigeria's current political and economic climate, what do you see as the most urgent front lines for civic action today, especially for young Nigerians?
So I think two front lines are actually urgent right now. We have economic accountability, and then we have electoral credibility. Young Nigerians right now, we want transparency in how our resources are used. We want the government to account for every naira and kobo they spend on behalf of Nigeria. And then electoral credibility. We are interested in rebuilding trust process in the process. What some people would say is, young Nigerians are apathetic. There is voter apathy. They are not showing up to vote. They are not interested in the electoral process. The only thing they do is to come online and complain. But then when it comes to on election day, they stay back. But that has not been the case. I think and I strongly believe that young people are actually very interested. The challenge is channeling the energy into structured civic action. And if you are able to get the electoral act, if you're able to get it right, if you're able to build trust in the process, I believe that there is going to be more young people interested in that process. So the challenge is actually channeling that into a civic action. That's where our mix of how we are using technology, our local engagement, that's the gap we are trying to fill. And I believe that with time, the interest that we've seen amidst young people is going to turn into impact. So economic accountability and electoral credibility are actually what the young people are actually yearning for right now.
All right, let's quickly go on a short break. And when we come back, we'll pick up this conversation. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are talking about EIE at 15, and we're talking about Frontlines and achievements and the journey so far. And I have a representative here with me as we engage in these conversations. Are you still with us, sir?
Yeah, I mean,
Great. Okay, so I wanted to ask. So over the past 15 years, Nigeria's civic space, of course, has expanded, but also has experienced significant pushbacks. So how has EIE navigated state resistance, shrinking civic freedoms, and the rise of digital authoritarianism?
yeah. So here in Nigeria, we've actually been a victim of attacks from the government. We've had instances where our bank accounts were blocked. We've
Mm.
had instances where at the time the government
Can,
even
can
tried
you can you
to.
share with us an example of when your bank account was blocked?
Yeah, that was during the NSAS protest and the aftermath of the Lekki massacre. And then government were rounding up people they call main actors during the protests.
Okay.
And then our bank account alongside other frontline actors during the protest was actually locked. So it's part of how the government actually tried to suppress the civic space. And how have we been able to resist that? Because our mission is actually very clear.
Right.
We know what we are up against. We know how they would want to come at us, but then our resolve is actually very strong.
Mm.
We are not going to give up. We believe that Nigeria is worth fighting for.
Mm.
And what the government wants is just to put fear into our minds. They don't want us to speak up. And by the time you give in to that to that suppression, that means the government has won. So we are not going to give up. It's not been easy, but then we believe that Nigeria is worth fighting for, and we're going to get it right one day. But then before we can do that, our message has been to young Nigerians: we just need to get involved. We need to we need to engage our government. If you speak up, if I speak up, government cannot shut us down. So government is banking on suppressing our voices, but then if we don't relent, we are definitely going to come up.
Right, great work you people are doing. But beyond elections, EIE has done significant work around, legislative accountability. So, what practical steps can citizens take to effectively track and influence their representatives?
Yeah, so information is the starting point. You can't hold someone accountable if you don't even know who they are. You can't hold the government accountable if you don't understand the process, if you don't understand the government. So that's one of the reasons why we built ShineYourEye.org. ShineYourEye.org is a platform where you can see everything your elected representative is doing. So if you go to www.shineyoureye.org, you can find the contact details of your local government chairman, of your state House of Assembly members, of your councillors, down to the National Assembly members. And then very soon we're also going to be able, on that website, you're going to be able to see how those that you have elected to work for you, those that you have elected to serve you, you are going to be able to find their contact details. You're going to be able to see how they vote during plenary. You're going to be able to even see their attendance. Okay, you've elected someone to the National Assembly in Abuja. Is the person even attending plenary? What are the motions or the bills the person is contributing to on the floor of the house? So you're going to be able to see that through that platform. But then beyond information, engagement is also very critical. You have to ask questions as a citizen. You also have to attend town halls. So everything doesn't have to end online. You have to actually get involved. Your National Assembly member has a constituency office. There's a routine engagement that your National Assembly member is supposed to do at the senatorial level or at the constituency level. You have to also find that and also go and attend, engage him. So when citizens show up consistently, both digitally and in person, the behavior of those that we have elected is going to change. So engagement is very key.
Right. So, advocacy organizations, often struggle with donor dependency and internal sustainability. So, can you walk us through EIE sustainability model and how you've, managed to maintain a non-partisanship across multiple election cycles?
Yeah, so yeah, currently funding has been a challenge globally. Everybody is aware of that. But then we've been gracious with what we call EIE enablers. So those are just Nigerians that believe that Nigeria is worth fighting for, and they are supporting us. So we have an enablers group, those that commit to donate to EIE Nigeria either monthly, either annually, either one-off. So that has been how we've been able to stay afloat despite the funding challenges that is happening globally.
So
And
now
we are,
looking at, okay, go ahead, finish your thoughts.
and we are appealing to Nigerians who believes in what we do, who believes that this country has potentials to come on and join our enablers network, support good work. We believe that we're going to get it right. So we can't give up on Nigeria. Help is not going to come from anywhere. We are going to have to help ourselves.
Right. I was going to ask you, looking at Nigeria's 2027 elections, okay, and of course beyond, what civic red flags, concern EIE the most? What invisible threats should citizens be paying attention to?
Yeah, I think the Electoral Act needs to be amended, and then just recently when the National Assembly, uh, the National Assembly committee to amend the constitution held the regional town hall. We also submit our memorandum there. Our focus on election is actually on how to restore trust. There has to be transparency with how results are transmitted. We also have to build independent institutions. That means INEC has to be very independent. The political party reforms. Recently now, you have been seeing someone elected on the platform of PDP jumping to APC, someone elected on the platform of APC, Labour Party jumping to APC. It's actually very bad. So we believe there also needs to be political party reforms. And then dispute resolution also needs to be very fair and very fast. So the important thing is that election goes beyond just the voting day. The other issues that would come up after the election also has to be very fast and fair and seem to be credible. The election also has to be very free and fair. So if you are able to get that right, the election and the election process, you're able to get it right, I believe the 2027 election is going to be good. So we are advocating for changes. We are putting pressures on the National Assembly members, and we invite Nigerians to be very vigilant. We also need to just lend our voices to all these advocacies so that 2027 election will not just be a waste of time and citizens will actually believe in the sanctity of the electoral process.
So, still speaking about the electoral process, of course, Nigeria's youth population is an asset, right?
Yes.
But it's also a responsibility. So, what specific innovations are you planning to adopt to deepen youth political participation in the next decade?
So, well, looking ahead forward, it's really exciting. We believe the future is very bright. So we are focused on three main areas. We are expanding our reach at the state level. We are strengthening engagement at the local government level, and then we are also deepening civic education for Nigerians. So what that means is that we are giving citizens the tools and knowledge to engage decision makers where it matters most. For 2027 elections, we are working on tools that citizens would actually be able to monitor the election and report election results as they are uploading it on iRed. It's part of the tools that we are developing and we are hoping to scale even during the off-cycle elections before 2027 election. So we're also committed to innovating digitally and train the next generation of civic leaders because an informed Nigerian cannot get it wrong. So we need to actually be informed as a citizen, know your rights and responsibilities so that you can be able to challenge government and government to account. So sustainable change is built on people and systems. So we are working on creating that systems that is independent and can hold government to account.
So, speaking on emerging civic organizations, right? What lessons have you learned in 15 years that you would offer these emerging civic organizations about resilience and non-partisanship? Because it's very easy for civic organizations to slip into that partisanship path, right? Especially to be able to stay afloat and get funding and all of that. So, what can you offer them as lessons to help them stay on their course and not be, swayed by benefits they can get from partisanship?
Okay. For emerging civic organization, I would like to tell them that consistency matters more than one single campaign. So you need to anchor your work on your values, not the moments. Then trust is your strongest currency. People would know if you are genuine or not. They are going to know. So you have to make sure you are trustworthy, you are who you say you are. And then credibility is also built over time. So you have to show evidence of your work. So just keep doing the work. The recognition may not come now, but just keep doing the good work. If you don't relent, the recognition, the fame, and the rest would come. Then Finally, for emerging civic organization, you should also not be partisan, be non-partisan, but not neutral. Be non-partisan, but not neutral. What that means is that you need to take clear position on issues, not on parties or personalities. So let your criticism be constructive. Do not malign people's reputation. Stay on issues. So that clarity would actually it would actually protect your credibility and it would help you keep your focus. So anchor your work on values. Trust is your strongest currency, and then be non-partisan but not neutral. Those are the three advice I would give to emerging civic organizations.
Amazing, amazing. Just before we wrap up, right? 50 years is a milestone, like I earlier said. So, and I'm very sure and very curious of what you people have in store for the next, decade, next chapter of EIE. So, can you please walk us through it, at least even if it's a snippet, right? What the next chapter of your work look like, and also what initiatives, what new initiatives and strategic goals you're preparing for.
The next chapter for us is building informed, active citizens. So we are going to be doing more of civic education for young Nigerians. If you speak to an average Nigerian today, most of them do not understand the workings of the government, and it's a gap that is really unfortunate, and we are working to actually build that. Then at the same level, there has been so much focus on the federal government, and people are not actually asking questions of what's happening at the subnational level. So we are also going to be focusing on that. So civic education and building from the subnational level. Those are going to be some of the things we are going to be focusing on for the next decade.
All right. Thank you so much. That's all we have for you tonight. Thank you for your time, and we do hope, we'll commend your good work, of course, and we do hope to hear more good news from your end. Have a good evening, sir. All right.
And you too.
So the EIE Nigeria's 15th anniversary is a powerful testament to the impact of persistent and principled advocacy. I mean, we've had this conversation with them, and you heard them, and it's really commendable if you ask me. So their footprints are visible across our democracy, from the electoral processes to the halls of the legislature, for the office of the citizen. That's actually the one I'm very impressed about. The office of the citizen. This conversation, is a reminder that the work of nation building requires long-term commitment. It's not a one-off thing. It underscores the vital role that organizations like EIE play in holding the line and empowering every citizen to own their voice and their power. So we look forward to seeing the continued impact of EIE on Nigeria's democratic future. And we do hope that, they don't relent, because it's not an easy cause. But like I said, we commend them, and we pray they don't relent, because we need more people in the civic space to stand in this gap. Anyway, before we go, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. Drop a comment, like, share, and follow all our social media platforms. And if you missed our quote earlier, here it is. It says, "To deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity." And this was said by Nelson Mandela. My name is Chioma Kalu, and this has been Waste Prime Time. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, lives a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying? has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our life